Hello and welcome to Monster Cake version 2. This time, because of the success of the last one, I'm actually trying this time. Last one was very much cobbled together last minute. This time I actually took some preparation, got some better ingredients, still have the main ingredient, the white monster. And we're trying a pound cake this time instead of whatever the last one was. Still from scratch, obviously, but we'll see how this goes. I have all the ingredients that I need here. I got flour, granulated sugar, powdered sugar for the glaze that I'm also going to be making myself. Eggs, some butter, and then just like last time, I'm trying to make this vanilla or lime flavored, lemon flavored, lime flavored, same thing. So I'm going to be using this, and then as requested, I'm going to be trying to dye it blue. I didn't want to use just the regular blue or purple monsters because those have different flavors, and I don't think it would have gone as well with the lemon. So trying the white monster again with some blue food dye for both the cake itself and the glaze. Worst that happens, it just comes out a really weird color, but it should still taste the same. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so first things first, this recipe technically calls for a stand mixer. I am obviously broke and don't have that, so I'm going to be using a regular bowl and a electric mixer. Hopefully this is a good enough stand-in, but we will see. So first things first, I'm going to mix 3 sticks of softened butter into 3 cups of granulated sugar. So let's do that first. I just took these sticks out the fridge and nuked them for 15 seconds twice. So they're not quite melted, but they're definitely soft enough, so they should be able to mix nicely with the sugar. And of course, this is gonna get my fingers all sorts of oily, but that's fine. So I'm doing this right next to the sink where all my dirty dishes are, but you can't quite see that. But they're in there, trust me. So get this last stick of butter in. There we go, make sure we get all of it, because baking is a science, unlike cooking where you can just kind of make it up as you go. Baking, you have to be exact. Oh, there we go. The oven just finished preheating at 325. So when that comes around, we should be ready to get going immediately. So butter is in the bowl. I'm going to take my 3 cups of just regular granulated sugar and add those in as well. And again, ideally with this, you would have a stand mixer that you could have running at medium speed, but again, I don't have that, so I'm making do. Something ingenuity is humanity's greatest strength. Something along those lines. So 3 quick little cups. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Very nice. And now the recipe calls to mix for this for 5 minutes. It specifies that in like bold. So I am going to mix this at medium speed. So my mixer goes from 1 to 9, so I'm just gonna throw it to 5. And I'll do this for 5 minutes and then come back to you. All right. And now that it's been 5 minutes, our sugar and butter mixture has been combined. It's become almost a Play-Doh consistency, or mashed potatoes. So now we're going to take our 5 eggs and we're going to add them in one at a time, mixing at a slow speed. So I'm just going to leave this at 1 probably. And since I have to do this one-handed, I just crack them all into a bowl. And I'm going to try to get just 1 in at a time, like that. That's interesting. And then just mix that in, try to get it all nice incorporated. We're adding the next one, like so. Here we go. I'm just going to keep doing this for all the eggs, making sure it gets as combined as I can each time. There we go. Very nice. Increase this a little bit just to 2. Making sure it's getting nice and mixed together. And now it's starting to become more of a batter consistency like you normally see for cakes. So now I'm going to take the 3rd egg, like so. Combine that one in. There we go. Yeah. Very nice. Very cake-like now. And then these last 2, I think it's fine to just throw those in there. Put that in the sink for later. And then mix these 2 together until we have a nice consistency all the way through. Like so. Flip it one more time. And I can already tell you, this looks and smells a lot better than the last cake I made, which used yogurt as the main dairy product. So it smelled like yogurt. This no longer smells like yogurt because there's none in it, which is a good thing. So yeah, now this is what we have. So now we're going to take 1 teaspoon of lemon, mix that in along with 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to take my handy dandy measuring, get 1 teaspoon right here. I'm just going to throw that in there. Boop. And the vanilla, as I said last time, you measure this one with your heart. That feels good. Make sure we put the lid back on everything, so if I knock something over, it doesn't spill everywhere. And then mix this in as well. Again, just looking to make sure that there's no streaks or anything before we move on to the next step. And we already got a really nice thick cake batter. We just have a couple things to add left. That should be good. So now we are going to do our 3 cups of cake flour. The recipe does specifically call for cake flour. I'm not sure if you can use regular flour and it'll work fine. I imagine there is a little bit of a difference, but I'm not a good enough baker to know that. So I'm just using what the recipe tells me to, along with 3/4 of a cup of our white Monster. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a nice little crack. And then the recipe tells us that we want to alternate between adding the Monster and the flour. So that's 3/4 of a cup of Monster. And then we're going to open up our cake flour. Grab a knife out of the drawer. Open this. There we go. We're going to start off with 1 cup of our cake flour. Again, doing all this one-handed while not having a stand mixer isn't the easiest, but we're making it work. So there we go. That's a little bit more than a full cup. So we'll just have to compensate that for one of the other scoops. And we'll mix that in real quick. Again, same as last time. Just going until it's nice and combined. Like so. we'll add a dash of our monster to get us down to about half. There we go. There we go. Very nice. Very thick batter, but that can be expected because it's going to be a pound cake. So there's not going to really be much rising, from what I understand, because we're not adding any baking soda or baking powder. But that's fine because we put 3 whole scoops of sugar in this, so it's going to be plenty sweet, and that's all that really matters. So that was our first scoop. I'm going to do our next one. I'm going to do my best to underfill this one just a tad to compensate for the last one that was a little full. Let's see what we can get going here. There we go. That should be about making up for the last one. Making a massive mess, but that's fine. Got it all over my stand mixer, my temporary stand mixer, but that's all right. Mixing it all in, gonna up the speed a little bit. Get it nice and thick again, and then once it's good, add some more of the monster in. Now we got about a quarter left. Make sure it's nice and incorporated, like so. And then we will do our last cup of cake flour. And just like the last ones, I feel like they were both a little full, so I'm gonna shoot to underfill this one just a tad. There we go. Very nice. So all of our flour. Mix it in. And then the last bit of our monster. Go straight in. Like so. Mix this in. Try to get everything off the edges. So that way all of our measurements are as accurate as possible. There we go. Very nice. And then finally, arguably the most important part for the theme of this cake is the food coloring. This is just regular food grade coloring. Add a couple drops. The stuff is always really concentrated, so hopefully I didn't overdo it. We'll mix that in, see what colors we get. The batter itself, I don't know how well you can tell, is already a bit of a off-white yellowish tinge. So if anything, this combination is probably going to make a bit of a green color. If anything, I don't think that was enough, so again, doing this one-handed, not the best. Add a few more drops. See what we can get, if we can get an actual blue tinge to it. Let's see here. Just as the cherry on top of this whole color situation, I am very colorblind. So, in all honesty, there could be things happening here that I legitimately just do not see. So I'm just gonna add a few more colors, or a few more drops. See if we can get anything, but I feel like this is the limit for what I'm willing to put in here. Because I want to save enough for the glaze afterwards. Because that's the part that's going to be the most visible. Because you know how the sides of the cake are always sort of brown up or golden up, so you can't really see the color of the cake inside. But good. And I go all the way up to pull it out. of a mess, but that's fine. It's baking. It's about the experience. So this is the final product. I think I was right in it turning a little green. Again, I can't really tell because I am colorblind, but that's the final product. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna take our bundt pan, gonna spray it down real quick with some cooking oil so it hopefully doesn't stick. Oh. There we go. Then we're going to take our batter, and I don't have a spatula, so fork time. And we're just going to put this into the pan. And this is already looking promising because this is about the consistency that the recipe showed in the video the person that made it had. So hopes are high compared to the last time where it was all bubbly and I wouldn't say gross, but definitely had to be a bit of a brave individual to try some. It did taste pretty good, but the presentation was a little off. But hey, it's a monster cake. That should come with the territory, I feel like. Doing this with just a fork is not the easiest, but it should be at the very least most of it. And again, this does smell a lot better than last time, probably because it doesn't smell like yogurt, but it's fine. So got as much of it as I can, throw that in the sink, and take the fork, just spread it around so it's nice and even. Try to get as much of it off the sides as possible so those parts don't burn. And that looks pretty good. Pretty much exactly like the pictures in the recipe I'm following. Very nice. So now that the cake portion is done, very good, very thick as well. It's barely moving in there. So this is done. We're going to put it in the oven at 325 for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Or until whenever the poke test goes through. But that's the time that it said. And the last time I did this, my oven ran a little cold. So I'm gonna leave it in there for the full time. We'll check back on it then. But in the meantime, it gives us plenty of time to make the glaze. So I'm gonna stick this in and then come right back to do the glaze once I clean up a little bit. So be right back. All right, and welcome back to the last thing I need to do before we're just waiting for the cake to finish, making the glaze. So for this one, the recipe is pretty easy. It's just 2 cups of powdered sugar, 4 tablespoons of milk, 1 tablespoon of lemon, and then again, I'm going to be trying to add a little bit of blue food dye to make the entire thing blue. And then for this glaze, since I'm not really in the mood to eat an entire pound cake by myself in one night, when it comes out and cools down, I think I'm going to cut it up and put it in a Tupperware and then drizzle this over it at the very end. So we'll see how that looks once it all gets said and done. So first things first, let's get our measuring cup and go ahead and get this powdered sugar in there. Again, gotta grab a knife to open it, like so. 2 cups of powdered sugar. The recipe didn't specify any special song and dance for all this, so I'm just gonna kind of throw it all in there, like so. All right, let's see if I can, there we go. 2 cups of powdered sugar. And now we'll grab our tablespoons. And we will do 4 of these of our milk. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, like so. Put the lid back on that. Now some lemon. Just one of these. There we go. Again, putting lids on everything so if I knock anything over, it doesn't go spilling everywhere. And now, we're gonna mix this together. I'm gonna be a little bit more careful this time because powdered sugar has a tendency to poof up everywhere like it does in the movies and everything. So hopefully it doesn't do that. It's nice and incorporated like so. Turn into a really simple glaze. Very nice. That looks actually really, really nice. I'm genuinely shocked at how easy this is. And it's literally just, this is 3 ingredients, but I don't think you really technically need this one. But that's a glaze. That's impressive. So now, we're gonna take the blue food dye, do some of that. See if we can get it to turn, yeah. Oh, that looks so good. Up the speed a little bit so we can get the last few of these chunks to incorporate it. And of course the light is behind me, but look at that. A nice little pale sky blue. Add a couple more drops to see if I can get it to darken up a little bit. Oh, that looks so good. It's becoming the same color as the bowl. That's pretty funny. And I'll do a little bit more to see if we can get a darker color. Just one last time, and that's all I'll put in to get a really nice sky blue. I am genuinely shocked that that worked as well as it did. There we go. It really is like the exact same color as the rest of the bowl. That's pretty funny. But there we go. So since this has milk in it and the cake has probably around an hour before it finishes baking and finishes cooling and all that, I'm gonna stick this in the fridge so it's still nice and cold, and then we'll come back after the cake itself is finished. So we'll be back in probably about an hour, and in that meantime, I'll order dinner and then we'll have cake for dessert. Very nice. All right, welcome back. The timer just went off for the cake, so I'm gonna pull it out real quick. Unfortunately, there's not really a way of me doing this with y'all watching because I need 2 hands to pull it out of the oven. So let me pull it out real quick. I'll put it right here. We can get first impressions together. It definitely looks and smells like a cake. It did rise a little bit. I don't know if cake flour has a little bit of something in it, but that was pretty good. That was pretty good. All right, so close the oven back up, and then, as I said, poke test to see if the knife comes out clean. I'd say that's pretty clean. I think this was a smashing success. Obviously, the blue didn't really go as planned, especially on the outside, can't really see any. But I think that's pretty good. So I'm gonna turn off the oven and then let this cool down. And then once it is cool, and after I've finished eating, I will put it on a plate, cut it up, put it in the Tupperware that I have here, drizzle the blue, very blue icing. Very happy with how that came out. Drizzle it over this, and then try some for dessert. Again, it smells and looks really good. So I'm looking forward to this one a lot more than the last one. The last one, it was like, I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was. This one, high hopes. Hopefully it can meet them. I'm very confident though. Those were good. Hopefully it doesn't collapse like the last one did. I don't know if you remember, but the first one came out, it was all like poofed up, and after it cooled down, it womp. So hopefully this one does better, but we'll leave it. Probably come back in about an hour or so after it's cooled down and after I finish eating. We'll go from there. So I will see you in a minute. All right, it's been about an hour. The cake is nice and cool by now, so we're gonna take it out. Hopefully the pan was greased enough so it'll just come out and we won't have any falling apart. And then we'll be able to see what it looks like for the final product. Bro. It fell apart a little bit, but that's fine. That's fine. You can see this is what the inside looks like. That's perfect. This is actually a perfect opportunity for a little taste test too. Oh. Dude, that's incredible. Honestly, not much Monster flavor, but just the fact that it's in there is enough for me. Let's be real. A little lemony, mostly from, you know, the lemon, but that's a really good cake. Oh, that's so good. Okay, so now, as I said, I'm gonna put it in here, and we have a nice blue icing that I think is actually, it's kind of like hardened on the top because it was just open in the air. So I'm gonna take my big knife. I'm gonna cut this bad boy up. Let's see, right there. It's still just a little bit warm, a little bit crusty. Like the outer shell, I guess you could say, is a little hard, but I think that's fine. It helps it keeps its shape a little bit more. So now we'll turn a little bit. Cut it again. It might help if I actually sharpen these knives every once in a while. But, oh. Yeah, I think it's a little well done. That's probably why it's falling apart, because it's just like all the parts near the shell. I'd say shell. It's not like hard, but I'm gonna eat that. There it is, right here. Yeah, I think maybe for an hour even next time, as opposed to an hour 10. But this is really good. Again, it could also just be that this knife is incredibly dull. It's not doing a really good job of cutting, but that's fine. All right. So I'm gonna put most of these slices in the bin, save them for later. And then I'm probably gonna take the icing, drizzle what I want on for tonight, and then put the rest in like a Ziploc bag or something. So I have a portable icing. Of course, this Tupperware isn't really big enough, so I'm kind of stacking them, and I'm sure that's not going to end the best, but that's fine. And then all the leftover cake bits. I'm going to take this and grab where'd my fork go? Where's my fork? Gonna mix it a little bit so that that like top crust breaks up. Look at that. Take some of this and just drizzle it on top. Of course, my artistic talent is non-existent, so does it look the best? No. But at the end of the day, it's a big pile of sugar, and that's all that really matters. So, final product. Wow. All right, let's see what this tastes like with the icing. If I can get this bit. Come here. Oh. That was really good. That was really good. Yeah, I mean, it's 11-pound cake with blue icing, but I made it from scratch, and it has almost a cup of Monster in it, so this is phenomenal. Very, very good. I will be making this again, and y'all know how to make it too now, so if you want to, you can, and this one is an actually really, really good one. Like, genuinely, if someone just handed this to me on the street, first of all, I'll ask them, where did they get a cake and why are they giving it to me on the street? Second, I'd ask, is there anything weird with this cake? Because it doesn't taste like it. It's just normal cake. So I love this. So that's it. I'm gonna clean up, or say I'm gonna clean up and then put this in the sink and forget about it and not touch it until tomorrow, but that's fine. No, that's pretty much it. Monster cake.